Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and in this video we'll talk about how to install Kali Linux into VirtualBox. And obviously we are using Windows host, so you'll be using Windows host all the time. Okay, now why we are choosing VirtualBox? Because of it's free to use, and there are multiple alternatives to like VMware and all, but they are all need licenses, so obviously we'll be using VirtualBox, and it's famous too. Now, for the requirements of this video, you need to install VirtualBox into your system like this, and we'll be having this window. Now, if you don't know how to install VirtualBox properly, along with all the extension pack too, you can just head over to the right corner of the video and right top corner, and you can get a card type of thing, and you can just click onto that to get to the video. Otherwise, I will also add one more link to the video in the description box. You can just click on the link and get the video. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started into the session. So at first, what we can do, we can just open and fire up our browser, and then we can just go to Kali download. Okay, now after getting into Kali download, we'll just use the first link, get Kali. Now there are two type of architecture that we can use. Otherwise, there are there are more builds that you can use for different types of systems. So for us, we can use either the installation image or the virtual machines images. So if you install it from installer images, it will take some time and you have to configure everything manually, and it will obviously take time, a little bit of time. So we will head over to the virtual machines. Now I'll let you know why we are using the virtual machines. Let's just first download it, then we'll just go get into it. Okay, now if you click onto that this pre-built VMs, we can see there are two architectures, correct? One is 32 and one is 64-bit. So what we can do to get to know about it, you can just open system information, like just search system information, and you'll get one icon like this. Just open it and you will get the architecture of your system here. For mine is x64, so I'll be obviously going with x64. Otherwise, one more thing you can do, you can just search for control panel, and then you'll get a window like this. Just enter into system security, then system, and you will get to know about your architecture here, like 64-bit operating system, so x64 best processor. Now you know which architecture you have, right? So mine is 64, and if anyone has 62, you can just go here. Just 64-bit. Now there are multiple sources are there. For mine is VirtualBox. Obviously, I will be using VirtualBox. If you have VMware, then you can use the VMware too. Otherwise, Hyper-V or QEMU, you can use any of those. I'll be using VirtualBox, so I'll just download this one. Okay, now we have to download this thing. I already have downloaded, though I'll not waste your time. So let's just head over to the downloads, and you'll be getting a zip like this. Yeah, I know there are multiple folders too, but you will get a zip like this, only this file. You can use any of the extraction tool, like I am using Winder. So as you can see, this is Winder, or you can use 7-zip because the extension is 7-zip, so it will also support. Or you can use WinZip too. There are multiple tools, right? I love using Windows, so I'll be using Windows. So what you can do, you can just right click and then extract to Kali. It will take some time because it will be extracting the whole images here. Okay, now for you, if you are using any other tools, maybe the process may differ, but you need to extract. That is the main point. Now you can just use Google for your software and let us know like how you are extracting those in the comment section. Okay, so I'll be just extracting. It will take some time and based on the processor speed though. I will get a folder like this. Okay, within the folder we will be having two files. One is this VVox and one is VDI. So if you just double click VVox, it will actually import easily. That is the one way. Now sometimes if you're using Linux or some other machines, it may not actually import properly or directly. So at the time what you can do, I'll just remove this one. At the time what you can do, just like you can see the images here, right? You can see all everything is configured all the way, right? So we'll just configure it manually though. That's not a case. So I'll just remove the image. Okay, remove the image, and I'll show you how you can do it if it's not automatically importing. Okay, so we'll just head over to our VirtualBox. Okay, now as we don't have any, we'll just add. You can add it like this too also, and this VBox will be imported automatically. That the same thing we done with double click. Now if it not happens, then you can open a session here or create a new box and give it any name, Kali. And this is actually where you want to store all those VMs. Though I'm not using any IOC images too. So we'll just go to export mode and we'll select Linux and we'll select Debian 64. These are actually the system type, like Linux flavor types. So Kali Linux is actually the Debian one, and it's obviously a 64-bit image that we already downloaded. Now just head over to Kali, and these are not actually required for us. And for hard disks, we'll just use an existing one, and we'll add this VDI image. Okay. This may be same for your Linux machines, or if you're using Mac also you can use this process if it's not been automatically added. Okay, now for hardware we can give any like for me it depends upon your RAM though. Like for me, if you can check, I have 24 GB of RAM, so 4 GB enough and I can give it like right. If you have 8 GB RAM, then you can go with 2 GB, like how much free you have, right? I have much more RAM free in my system, so I can easily give 4 GBs. For you, if you have 8 GB and 4 GB is already used, you cannot give 4 GB, right? So just use it alongside. Just take a look, like if the RAM should not be exceed 80 90 like that, then your system will be slow. But at least you need 2 GB to run into your machine. And for CPU, I have 6 cores, then definitely I can give 4 cores easily. Okay, now I hope that is completed and I'll just finish. So this is the bare thing how you can import. Like the easiest way is using the double click, definitely, but sometimes it does not happens, right? So otherwise you can use double click too and it will be imported. And after you double click and get this type of thing, just go to settings and you can settings all those things, like system you can give to 4 GB of RAM, and processor you can give 4 GB, acceleration if you need, then display also you don't need to change those things, this will automatically import it. And just check here if it is NAT or not. Okay, if it's not NAT, then keep it on NAT. Otherwise, if you know what is NAT, bridge and all, then you can change it. Otherwise, if you don't know anything, just leave it to NAT. And then you can use the shared folder, so I'll not go in much into this. So when we need, we'll just do it now. Okay, and then we'll should start the machine, and I hope it will be starting properly. I'll let you know at last, like when we actually need, why we did those. It's showing some pop-up that if you click, your mouse will be captured. Yes, we want to capture and we don't want to show it again. Okay, now now we will be getting an interface like this after the system boots up, and we can close all these windows if you want. But keep in mind, as we imported the machine, it's using this as the like a virtual hard disk, so it's running from here. If you move it in any space, you cannot actually access those. So just keep in mind, it's using this as a virtual hard disk. Now for login, the default ones are Kali and then Kali. Password, username is same. You just click enter and you'll be logged in. Okay, now see, there all the guest addition, or all the things, all the guest addition that you have to install after installing an ISO, these are all actually installed pre-built. Okay, so this is the best thing when using the VMware files directly rather than just installing from ISO. Then you have to go to device, insert guest additions, and you have to install those, and this actually takes some times, and you may be wasting some time too, right? So it's better to actually use those images if you want to stay back to know what an ISO does and what the VMware files does, what's the difference between these two. Just we'll just head over to that. Okay, now as you are here till the video, we'll just tell you what is the difference between the ISO files and the VM files. Because when you went to get Kali, you got some two options, right? Like this install images and virtual images. So these are IOC images and these are the VM files. Now, what's the difference? The IOC image is when you want to install any ISO, you just get IOC image, and if you want to install it on bare hand, you just burn that IOC image into any removable device, and then you install that onto the systems, right? Now, as you're installing on VMs, not as original machines, so think like this is the virtual hard disk, okay? So it's a virtual hard disk drive. So these are not actual hard disks, these are the virtual hard disks. But think this is as a virtual hard disk. If you are installing the ISO on our main operating system, then it will be a normal hard disk, right? But as you are installing on our base OS or the host OS, these are some disk space that are actually being used as a virtual hard disk, correct? So what actually they did, they installed the ISO in VMware, okay, and they got a virtual hard disk, and this installed everything that you need, like the guest additions and everything, and this configured everything for you, and they just copied that virtual hard disk and put that into the VM files. So you can directly install the ISO from here too, okay, like normal installation, like ISO installation, then just going to the VirtualBox. Otherwise, what we have done, we just install from VM files. The VM files are actually the virtual hard disk that is being already installed, okay, so we don't have to install and waste our time. So whatever we got after installing the ISO files, we just packed it up and compressed it to create the VM files. And those VM files we are just importing for VirtualBox and we are using. So that's why it saves a lot of time and you don't have to configure it from scratch. So that's the main difference. If you have any questions or doubt, then feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer those. So that's all for today. Let's meet in the next video.